It's hard to believe it's been 20 years since the original Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic came out. I am a huge fan of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. I would say they're two of my favourite games ever, and I still play them to this day on a yearly basis. I was 16 when I first played them. 16. That's crazy. It's been that long. I'm forever grateful to the gaming TV show Gamer Web, which is actually the TV show that introduced me to the games in the first place. Back in the day, there was barely any video game TV shows that would be on for gamers like myself. And that was one of the TV shows back in the day. Think of it like Twitch before Twitch. It was basically a bunch of dudes and a couple of girls just sitting down, playing games, talking amongst each other. And one of them recommended Knights of the Old Republic, saying how good it was, being able to play light side, dark side. And I was intrigued right off the bat. I went straight out to Blockbuster Video Shop and I rented Knights of the Old Republic. I played it for 2 days because I think you got to rent games for 2 days. Boy, do I miss renting games like that. But I played it for 2 days and I honestly didn't think much of it. Like I say, I was 16 and I really hadn't played a lot of games like Knights of the Old Republic that were more RPG focused like that game was. Combat was very unique and different to everything I'd ever played. I was very used to more hack and slash style games, more linear, straightforward games. No word of a lie, that's kind of what I liked at that age. I'm kind of grateful to Knights of the Old Republic because I do feel like it's one of the first games, if not the first game, that made me crave a little bit more than your average action-adventure experience. Like I say though, I didn't really think too much of the game. It wasn't up until a certain part in the story that actually made me want to keep playing, and that is actually when you got your lightsaber, which takes a while to get within the game, and the story starts opening up. But right at that point in time, that's when I had to hand the game back into Blockbuster Video Shop, and it was right then I decided I really want to keep playing this game, and decided to go get a full copy for myself. And boy am I glad I did, because it definitely became one of my favourite games ever. The reason I'm even talking about KOTOR though, is they did announce a couple of years ago that there is a remake in development for the first game, and it's coming out on PC and PS5, and I'll be honest with you right now, I genuinely thought the game would be out by now. The game has been having trouble development apparently, because over the past couple of days, Sony were removing some of the videos from YouTube. Not so much removing, that's what was first reported of it, but they've actually been making a lot of the videos private. So you actually cannot watch any of them from Sony's official websites or YouTube or anything. And the reason for this apparently is because of music licensing though. Because it uses Star Wars music, it's had to have been hidden on YouTube, and maybe they need to renew the licensing. But it's making people wonder what's actually going to be happening with this game. Is it actually coming out, or is it in limbo? What is the deal with Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic Remake anyway? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Do I care about a KOTOR 1 remake though? I think I care more about it now than I ever have before, and I think that is honestly thanks to Resident Evil 4 Remake and how good that game was, because I think every remake that came before that game was a bit lackluster, and RE4 has reignited that in me a little bit with how good a remake actually can be. I haven't even sat down and thought about what I think could be improved upon in a remake for KOTOR 1. As far as I'm concerned, the original 2 games are kept pretty perfect. I play them on a yearly basis, and that's because I still find them genuinely enjoyable to play to this day. So it's really hard to sit down and think about oh, what could they change to make better for a more modern audience? Does that mean they're going to forget about the old school audience entirely? Are they dropping the combat system of how it is and just going to change it to be a more, I don't know, let's just say it's Final Fantasy VII Remake combat? That's no for everyone, it's no for me, but what if they just get rid of the old style and replace it with that? As well as games like Baldur's Gate 3, which uses a D&D system which just came out to so much praise. Maybe the developers are backtracking a wee bit on their combat thinking and being oh well, Knights of the Old Republic had a Dungeons & Dragons combat system, maybe we need to keep that in. Think about all the things I've maybe got to think about with Knights of the Old Republic. It must be insanely hard to pinpoint what needs to stay, what needs to go, and what needs to be improved upon. One thing they can't really screw up though is definitely the story. The story of KOTOR 1 is fantastic, obviously, and I love KOTOR 2s as well. I find it equally as good because it complements the story of KOTOR 1. But the story of KOTOR 1 is amazing. Everybody who's played the games knows how good it is, and that is definitely one angle where the more PlayStation movie-like experience could enhance the KOTOR 1 experience. That is one aspect that I think they'll have down, is the story. I don't think they can really screw that up, personally. So I think that's going to be all good. One thing I have to commend Konami on is I think it is genuinely nice of them. Now, I was saying this for Konami, but I think it's genuinely nice of them to be re-releasing the original 3 Metal Gear Solids, even though it's a lackluster collection that's coming out. We talked about this. But it's still nice of them to be re-releasing the original 3 games alongside the newer remake. So it's not like they want you to forget about the original game alongside the new remake. They're making it readily available for people to play on every new platform. Even though it's lackluster, yes, it's still there and going to be available for people to play ahead of the remake. Now, I genuinely think that is what they need to do for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. These games are not the easiest to play anymore. There's a couple of versions of the games out there for people to play. For people who are serious about Knights of the Old Republic in 2023, like myself, we're probably still playing the PC versions. I know I am. The PC versions are heavily modded though. I have modded them with the recommended mods from the KOTOR dedicated subreddit, and you should find that on there if you ever go and visit. It's right up the top, it's like pinned. So they have all the mods there available for people to do, but just be warned, it'll take you quite a bit of time to install all those mods. I know it's one aspect of the games that I dread doing. I just got a new PC again last year, I had to do it all again, all those reinstalls, and I hated every second of it. So it takes a while. KOTOR 2, I think, actually runs without any mods fine, because it got updated a while ago, but they did not update KOTOR 1, weirdly enough. So KOTOR 1 does not have any dedicated widescreen support available at all. KOTOR 2 does. There's also the Switch versions that I've not even tried because I'm still too busy playing the PC versions. There's no real point in me trying them. I'm happy with the PC versions. But I think the Switch versions are probably the easiest for people who are maybe like looking to play it today and they want to play it, they have a Switch. Those are the versions I would probably recommend. Because they also have like native widescreen support on KOTOR 1, which even the PC does not have native widescreen support. There's also the Xbox backwards compatible versions, which are the original versions of the games emulated on the Xbox One, Series S and Series X. The bad thing about those ones is they don't have any widescreen support whatsoever. I think what's weird about it is PlayStation don't have any versions of Knights of the Old Republic available whatsoever. And it's weird because that is the console that's getting the remake, and you cannot play the original 2 versions of the games. So this is what I'm saying when I thank Konami for at least giving us Metal Gear Solid Collection. There should be an up-to-date collection for every console and even PC, just an up-to-date version of the game for people to play, because who knows how far away this remake is. Is it another 2 odd years away? Is it eventually going to get cancelled? We don't even know. I mean, the likelihood of it getting cancelled seems kinda high with all the negativity surrounding the game right now. So it would be nice to have a perfect way of playing the original game. What do people want from KOTOR though? Do they want a full-fledged remake only? Or do you actually want to experience the original games before the remake comes out? Whenever that may be. Could still be ages away. And that's the problem, I think. That's why I think we need full-fledged good remasters for everybody to experience. Because I know some people aren't too interested in playing older games in like 2023, and trust me when I say, I'll be the first to admit that the original KOTOR games definitely have a bit of jank in them. They could maybe be a wee bit hard to play and ruin your immersion if you get stuck on a wall or something like that. 100% I will agree. I've played the games for so long though, I don't even see the jank anymore. But it definitely does exist. But it's actually one of the things I like about the game nowadays in this day and age. I personally think it would be cool to get a remaster along the same lines as what Tomb Raider is doing. Tomb Raider is getting a remaster next year for the first 3 games that is getting updated graphics, but also keeping the core gameplay element intact, so it's still the original 3 games, but they just look better. And you can switch between old graphics and new, which is such a good feature for people that want to keep the old look or want to get the new look. Best of both worlds. And guess who's doing that remaster? It's actually Asper. The people who were doing the remake when it first got announced, who are not doing the remake anymore because they have also changed developers because of this development hell that's going on with the remake. But yeah, I think a remaster like that would be pretty cool. Let me know what you think though. Would you rather just go straight towards the remake when it's coming out, if it's coming out? Or are you actually interested in playing the original 2 games? For me personally, if I was going to give any advice, I would genuinely say, as nice as possible, that I feel like Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 should be experienced by every gamer, because stories like that are timeless in video games, and that's what's great about them. For me, Knights of the Old Republic is my favourite piece of Star Wars media ever. I like the films and stuff, but Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are my favourite Star Wars thing. And I genuinely do think it is a gaming crime that we never ever got the original, as intended, Knights of the Old Republic 3. To this day, I still think it's crap we never got that. But it is what it is, and that's how it worked out. Anyway, hit me up with what you guys would want to see improved upon in the actual remake itself. I would like to hear opinions, because I've not really heard anything about what should be improved in the games. Tasty out.